Have you ever watched someone do something and thought, how do they make that look so easy? Maybe it was a classmate who could solve a math problem before you even finished reading it, or a friend who walked into a room full of strangers and somehow made everyone laugh within 2 minutes, or someone at school who could draw faces that actually looked like faces while your attempts kept coming out looking like potatoes with eyes. That feeling, the combination of admiration and slight confusion, is one of the most interesting feelings a person can have. Because what you are really noticing is a strength, and what you are really asking is, what are my strengths? That is what this episode is about. Here is something most people never stop to think about. You already have strengths right now. Not when you're older, not after you study harder, not once you fix everything you think is wrong with you. You have them now. The problem is that most of us are much better at spotting what we cannot do than at seeing what we genuinely can. There is actually a reason for this. Your brain is wired to notice problems. It has been that way for tens of thousands of years. If your ancient ancestor was walking through the forest and spotted a lion, the brain that noticed the danger survived. The brain that thought, oh, how beautiful, I wonder what kind of lion that is, did not. So your brain has a slight negativity bias. It scans for threats, for weaknesses, for what might go wrong. This is useful if you are being chased by a lion. It is less useful when you are trying to figure out what you are good at. So let us fix that. Let us look at this properly. What exactly is a strength? A strength is not just something you are good at. That is part of it, but it is not the whole picture. A strength is something you are good at and something that feels energizing when you do it. Psychologists who study human performance make this distinction carefully. You can be competent at something and still hate doing it. That is a skill, but it might not be a strength. A true strength is something that leaves you feeling more alive, not more drained. Think about the last time you were so absorbed in something that you forgot to check your phone. Time just passed. You were not watching the clock. You were not waiting for it to be over. You were just in it. That absorption, that flow state, as researchers call it, is a very strong signal. It is your mind telling you that this is an area worth paying attention to. Now, here is where it gets interesting. Strengths do not always look the way people expect. When most people think about strengths, they think about school subjects, maths, science, writing, art, sports. And yes, those can be strengths. But the categories of human strength are much wider and stranger and more personal than any school report card could capture. Some people have the strength of noticing things. They walk into a room and see details everyone else missed. The subtle change in a friend's expression, the way a story does not quite add up, the plant growing in a crack in the pavement that everyone stepped over. This is a real strength. Detectives need it, scientists need it, writers need it, good friends need it. Some people have the strength of connecting. They are the ones who always seem to know the right thing to say, who make people feel understood, who somehow hold a group of friends together. This is not a personality quirk. It is a sophisticated form of human intelligence. Counselors, teachers, managers, and parents all rely on it every single day. Some people have the strength of building, not necessarily physical things, though that counts too, but building systems, building plans. They can take a messy problem and see how it should be organized. They love the satisfaction of creating order out of chaos. Some people have the strength of persistence. They are not always the most talented person in the room, but they will still be working on something long after everyone else has given up. That might sound ordinary, but it is extraordinarily rare. Almost every great achievement in human history was built mostly on this one quality. Some people have the strength of imagination. They see possibilities that others do not. They can hold an image in their head of how something could be, even when the current reality looks nothing like it. That is how every invention ever made began. Someone saw something that did not exist yet. These strengths do not come with trophies or certificates. Nobody calls your name at an assembly and says, "Congratulations, you are excellent at persistence." But they are the things that will shape your life more than almost anything else. So, how do you actually find yours? Here is a simple method. Think back over the last month or the last year if you need more material. Write down or just mentally list the moments when you felt genuinely competent, not just praised by someone else, but genuinely satisfied with yourself. When did you think, yes, I did that well? It might be something small. You explained a concept to a younger sibling and they actually got it. You organized something that was a mess. You made someone laugh when they needed it. You kept going with something when it felt hard. Those moments are data. They are clues pointing toward your strengths. Here is a second method. Ask the people who know you well, not what they like about you, but what they come to you for. What do they ask your help with? What do they trust you with that they would not trust to just anyone? The answers will sometimes surprise you. We are often blind to our own most natural abilities precisely because they feel so easy to us. We assume that if something feels easy to us, it must feel easy to everyone. It usually does not. Now, there is one more thing to say about strengths, and it is possibly the most important thing in this whole episode. Strengths are not fixed. When you are 13 or 10 or 16, you are at the very beginning of understanding who you are. The strengths you have right now are not the complete list. They are a starting point. Some strengths will grow enormously as you give them attention. Some strengths you do not even have yet will emerge when life puts you in situations that call for them. Resilience, for example, is often a strength that only appears after difficulty. You cannot know you have it until you are tested. And here is something encouraging. Every single strength can be developed. Researchers who have studied human performance for decades agree that while people have natural inclinations, practice genuinely changes ability. The brain is plastic. It reshapes itself around what you repeatedly do. Someone who practices observation becomes a better observer. Someone who practices creativity becomes more creative. Someone who practices empathy becomes more empathetic. Your strengths are a starting point, not a ceiling. There is something worth saying about weaknesses too, since the question of strengths always brings them along. Weaknesses are real. Everyone has them, but you do not have to fix every weakness you have. You do not have to become equally good at everything. The most successful people in almost every field are not the people who had no weaknesses. They are the people who found their genuine strengths, developed those relentlessly, and found ways to manage or work around the things they were less suited for. You do not need to be everything. You need to be more fully yourself. One last thought to leave you with. There is a difference between performing a strength and discovering one. Performing means doing what you are already good at for approval or reward. Discovering means following your genuine curiosity and capacity, even when nobody is watching, and even when it does not fit neatly into a category that earns praise. Some of the most interesting, most fulfilled people in the world spent years doing things that did not look impressive from the outside. They were building something, discovering something, becoming someone. And then one day it made complete sense. Your strengths are already there. You just have to start paying attention. That is all for today. Keep thinking, keep growing, and I will see you in the next episode.